Hey, what's up, guys? Well, you caught me. I'm sitting indoors instead of being outdoors. And the reason why is the weather is horrible. Here in Kentucky, last couple weeks, we went from sub-zero to 60 degrees to pouring rain. I mean, it's been crazy. It's been back and forth and all over the place. But yeah, it's got me sitting inside a lot more than what I want to. But this time of year, when you do get trapped inside, I navigate to YouTube and I start watching videos. And what I've been watching here lately is videos highlighting people's upgrades to their kayaks. I mean, it's a new year. People have got some good ideas, and these ideas are all about making the experience a lot better and just things that people have found that turn out to be very useful when you're out there fishing. So I'm sitting here on YouTube right now. So what you find is a bunch of videos with all kinds of different people out there, guys and girls alike, who are featuring their kayaks. Kayaks of all different brands, and the gadgets that they put on them, the DIYs, the hacks, all those things that make fishing better for them when they're out there on the water. So every year I tend to do this on my own page, and this year is no exception. So last year I put out a video, and I was probably doing the same thing. I was sitting inside and bored to death and watching videos on upgrades, and was like, well, you know what? I'm going to show people what I got on my boat. So my boat is a Native Slayer, but the upgrades and the mods and the gadgets that you buy for them that I bought for my boat, they'll pretty much go on any boat. So don't let this, put you off because, well, I don't have a Native. I mean, some of these ideas will work on any fishing kayak that you have. So I've made some new adjustments to my boat. I've made some upgrades. I've changed some things. I've made it better for me, and stick around. Let's check it out. Let's go! All right, guys, let's talk my 2024 kayak setup. Like I told you, these are the kind of videos I love watching this time of year when it's rainy outside and it's cold, and it's cool to see how everybody got their boat set up. So I'm going to talk to you today about how I got my boat set up. Now, I've got a Native Slayer Propel 10, okay, by Native Watercraft, and a lot of what you see on my boat can go on any boat. Now, some of these things are made just for Native, but, there's other pieces of equipment out there that are very similar, and they'll go on any boat. So I'm going to show you what I got, and hey, maybe you'll get some ideas. So let's go over here to the back of the boat. All right, so hopefully what's the game changer this year is my Native Watercraft Sidekick. This thing here is hopefully going to save my back, because I can tell you one thing, this boat, although it doesn't weigh much with everything off of it, when you got everything in it like I do, man, it gets heavy. Now, I used to use this C-Tug cart, but this C-Tug cart, when it comes to this particular boat, was garbage. It did not work well at all. I'd set the boat on it, it never would center itself, it rocked all over the place. Plus, it was hard. I mean, lifting up a heavy boat and setting it on that, it was just a pain in the butt. So what I would end up having to do was load this in my truck and unload all the stuff on it, okay? So I'd back down the ramp, pull the boat off, put it in the water, break my back doing it, put all this gear back in it, park my truck, come back, fish, come in for the day, take all this junk out of it, break my back putting it back in the truck. I mean, man, it wasn't good. So hopefully this is going to change all that. And I got a good feeling about it. I've watched a lot of videos. So basically when I get to the water, all I got to do is pull this out once it's in the water. Okay. Put it in the traveling position.
Okay, and then I'm ready to go fish. And when I come back in, all I got to do is drop these back in. When I come up to the ramp, get my boat, wheel it up to the truck, load it in the truck, and take off. Now, they do recommend, okay, when you got it in the truck and you're traveling, that you go ahead and take these wheels off, okay, because they will bounce around when you're driving down the road, okay, and you could get some cracks here, okay, where that gear track, where it mounts in there, so, and we don't want that. All right, so moving on back here, talking about something else. All right, my spring blade rudder. Okay, spring. It's got a spring in there, all right? You can put it in this position, or it will spring down into that position. All right, the good thing about this is when you're underway, moving down the water, and this thing is deployed in this down position, okay, it will help your tracking. I mean, it's night and day, okay? The difference is night and day, I'm telling you. I did a review of this. You look up in the card, you can watch it. But when you're underway and you're moving and you got that down position, you do not have to come up here and keep your hand on this rudder control all the time, okay? Because your boat will maintain that good straight line. So that thing has been awesome. All right, next thing here, you see this big old tall pole. All right, this is the Yakutat parking pole. All right, and what's cool about this is it works like an anchor. So I can shove this into the bottom of the lake, okay? And as you can see here, I've run it through this D-ring, and I got this paracord here tied off to my boat. And what that allows me to do is I can stake off here, so depending on the wind or the current, I can stake off here and I can maintain the position of my boat, okay? So that way, if I want to do some spot fishing, okay, I can anchor off and go ahead and do that. Now, I can also anchor off here in the middle or up here in the front. So very versatile. I found it to work pretty good. So moving on down here, all right, I got my Ram cup holder. All right, and you see these little holes in it? I've seen people put baits in that. I've got it positioned here right close to my chair. So if I need to get my drink, it's right there. And mounted on here, I've got my Boomerang Tool Company snippers. So when I need to change a bait, okay, I can cut my bait with that right there. It retracts, okay, which makes it good. And it's always in the same spot every time. So if I need it, I know where it's at. All right, so now let's move to my electronics. And I'm going to have to go ahead and get out my cheat sheet because I don't remember all the specs. All right, so what we got here is the Humminbird Helix 5 down imaging GPS G2. All right, so this thing here, basically, it will give you a good look at what's underneath of you, okay? And you can see if there's any structure. You can look at drop-offs. You can see what the water temperature is, okay? You can set waypoints. It's got GPS on it, so there are some maps preloaded in this that you can use. And, hey, it's been really useful. I mean, there's better ones out there, no doubt about it, but this serves the purpose I need it for. And one thing I like about it is it has this good mount. All right, so this is a Scotty Fish Finder mount. And as you can see, it's got a bunch of different holes in it. So this will fit a bunch of different electronics. So I bought this. I didn't buy the one exactly for this one, but this one fits a bunch. And I made it work. It's setting on a Scotty 151 ball mounting system with gear head and track. Okay. And what's cool about this thing, okay, is you can adjust it back and forth any way you want to. So when you're sitting at your boat, you can put it up here closer. You can swing it out here if you want to. All right, moving on down. See these little Plano saddlebags, all right? These are actually off of my Plano soft crate. Okay, this thing, man, this soft crate's awesome, and we're going to talk about it here in a minute. But I found a good use for these. So this one on this side in particular, okay, what I did with this one was, that's where I've got my battery for my electronics. And you can see all my wiring is inside this bag. So when this thing is zipped up, everything is nice and clean. My wiring is nice and clean. I don't have wires all over the place. So if you look there, all right, you can see. Got wires coming out the front. They tuck in back behind that, and real good and clean. You know, I didn't have to drill any holes or anything, so it worked out good. All right, moving on up. All right, got a Scotty rod holder, and it's sitting on this Scotty transducer mount. Okay, this thing was one piece. So you got this gear head here. Okay, then you got this transducer arm. I got my transducer mounted there at the bottom. Okay, this thing will come up. All right, so when I'm done for the day, I can do that. Or when I'm out fishing, you can go ahead and put it down, and you know, you're ready to go. All right, so up here in the front, in this front storage, what we got up here, I got a little box, and we'll check that out. All right, so inside this box, okay, what I got some tools and an air horn, so if I got in trouble, I got this old school, man, measuring, and well, you can measure your fish or you can weigh it. And I mean, this thing's like, God, this thing's old, man. This was my dad's way back in the day, and this is what we had. This is what they had before digital, okay? That's how you weighed your fish. How accurate it was, I don't know. It seems like it was pretty accurate. But, you know, when you're telling somebody how big a fish is, you always got to add a couple pounds or a couple inches on it. So, all right, so we went down this one side. We're going to flip it around, and we're going to go down the other side. So, stand by. Let's do this. All right, guys, so we went down one side. Let's go down this other side and see what we got over here. All right, so we'll start up here at the front. All right, the first thing I'm going to look at is this Yak Gadget flex rod holder, okay? I like this a whole lot, okay? I used to use, you know, just regular old holders back here in the back, okay, where I put my rods back there. And what would always happen is when I got up into the bank, my rods would end up catching on a limb or something. And there was even times when I went to cast that I would catch the rod sitting there. I don't know how, but I would do it. All right, one thing that I really like about this, okay, these in particular, are the fact that you can loosen this up, okay, and you can slide these out, or you can slide them in a little bit if they get in your way, okay? So that's been really good for me. I did add something to this just to keep, okay, my rods from jumping around, okay? That way I can put that over top of them, and that'll keep them from jumping out of there, okay, and maybe lose one. So that's been a really good for me. That's one of the better things on this boat for me as far as upgrades that I did. All right, so next thing coming back here, I'll get over here where you can get a better angle. All right, so I've got my Native Watercraft 3-pocket storage, okay, and this thing is pretty good. Okay, inside of it, I've got some fish grippers, okay. Actually got two different sets of grippers. I got some scissors here, okay, so if I need to cut any braided line. And I got this strap here in case I want to tie off to something. All right, so next thing back, you can see I've got the saddle bag off the Plano soft crate. So what I like to do with this, I like to store my plastics in here. All right, so I'll even put trailers in there, or plastic worms, or, you know, look here, I even got some flukes. So I'll put them in there, and that makes it real easy access. So when I'm sitting here in my chair, I've got real easy access to my plastics. You know, everything is up here where I can get a hold of it, and it's out of the way. So if I stand up in my boat or whatever, you know, it's not going to hinder me from moving around or doing anything. All right, so as we go back through here, all right, you see right here, this is my pull handle, okay, for my spring blade rudder. All right, I got it mounted right there. We move on back, you can see we've got the other end of the Yak Gadget flex rod holder, okay, and on here you can see I've got these tethers. Okay, what I like to do with these tethers is I like to go ahead and tether off my reels, okay? So that way when they're not in use, I don't have to worry about them, you know, falling in the lake, Okay, so I like to keep them tethered off. Back here on this flex rod holder, I put another strap on here, okay, so that I could keep those fastened down when I'm not using them. So that's been real handy. You can see I've got another one of those little eyelets. I don't know if I showed it to you up here, but I've got this little eyelet here that I bought, okay? And that thing is real good as an anchor point, okay, to tether off to. So that's been really good. All right, so I move back here and you can see I got my Yak Attack Panfish Pro camera holder. Okay, I use this to capture all that good footage when I'm out there filming for the Navigating Angler series. All right, and I really like this a whole lot because you've got a whole lot of different angles that you can capture with this. So I can fold this down here like this, all right, and tighten it up, and then I can catch a whole different angle out here to the side, okay? And you can move it back and forth and all over the place. All right, so you can see here, I can wiggle this back and forth, you know, to change camera angles. And I mean, this thing is really cool. We'll go ahead and loosen this back up, store it up here like this. All right, so that pretty much does it for this side. Let's go down the middle. All right, so running down the middle, the first thing that we're going to run into, and I talked about it a little bit ago, because I talked about the saddlebags I've got up there. This here, the actual name, is the Plano Weekender Series Kayak Crate. All right, it's just a soft crate's basically what it was, and you can store so many things in it. And I did a video on this, and I'll put it up in the card so you can check it out, you know, to see the full deal. But it holds a lot of stuff. I've got Plano 3700, all right, tackle containers that I got in here, and I think I've got let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I got 6 of them. I got my raincoat stored in here. All right, in here in this bag, I got another, I think that's a 3600 series storage. I've got some scales in there. You can see right here, this is how I got it tethered off, okay, inside my kayak. So it won't come out. I mean, it's mounted solid in there. And this thing, I mean, it's just so many purposes it serves. Like I told you, I mean, I can store all my tackle here. I've got my battery stored up there in the saddlebags. I've got soft plastic stored there. I mean, I've just really made use of this thing doing all kinds of stuff. So this is a great purchase. I recommend it, and check out my video and you'll see why. All right, so moving up here to my seat. All right, got the old Lunker Hut fishing bag here mounted on the back. All right, and inside this, I mean, I haven't even taken full use of all the storage, but inside here, what I keep, all right, I got a watertight box that I put my wallet in and my keys and sometimes my phone. Got a bag here, okay, for my sandwiches. Gotta have a sandwich bag. What else is in here? And all right, I got a dry storage bag. Okay, so, you know, if I have to shed some clothes, maybe it's raining outside, I can put them in this bag and keep all my stuff from getting wet. So that's pretty much, you know, what I keep in there. But you could put more tackle in there. Sometimes I keep some extra fishing line. Over here on the other side, let me move around here. Over here on the other side, in this little pocket here, all right, I got a cup. I like to call that my pea cup, and you can probably figure out why. But, you know, that bag has been really good just for storing some extra things, okay? So, now, the most important thing I've got on this boat, it's got all kinds of stuff on it, but the most important thing I got on here is my PFD, okay? And this one here is an NRS Chinook, and I did a review on it. You can check it out in the card and in the description. But this thing is really comfortable, all right? And it's got the high back on it, okay? So when I'm sitting in my kayak, okay, the flotation part of this sets way up high here, so it doesn't, you know, so it doesn't get in the way back here when you're trying to sit down in your seat, okay? It sets up high. So that thing is awesome. Moving on down through here, let's look at this. Let's look at this seat just a little bit better, because this is what we operate out of, okay? this is the cockpit of the boat. Okay, so you control everything from here. One thing I like about this 10-foot boat is sitting in my seat, I can get to anything really easy. I can get to my tackle, I can get to my rods, I can get to my snacks, I can get to my fish grips, I can get to my tackle, up here, my plastics, everything is where I can get to it really easy. I can look at my graph over there. So up here also, all right, I bought this under seat storage. Okay, now this is a knockoff. Native makes one of these, and it costs quite a bit. Okay, so I got on Amazon and I found one that looks just like it, and I put it on here, and it's been working for me, and the link's in the description. But this thing holds some of the tools and stuff that I might need. Okay, I got my pliers in here. All right, if I'm going to fish a wacky rig, okay, I got this here to help me put on those little O-rings so I don't have to tear up my wacky rigs. All right, and I got my terminal tackle in here. Okay, and that's what I got in those 2 boxes. Now another thing that I did, I handcrafted me, okay, a way to store my fish measure. Okay, and I just got a board from Bass Pro Shop. I don't really fish tournaments, so I just use this for my own, I always practice catch and release. I don't keep any fish, but sometimes I do like to know what size they are. And all I did was I cut a piece of hose, okay, and this just slides in there like that, out of the way, and you can see how it runs through there. And I mean, that's just some DIY that I did, and it works out real good for that, okay? Keeps it out of the way, and it's still there really easy for me to access. All right, so moving on up, next thing I got the old Native Propel drive, okay? And this thing, I mean, man, I used to, and I still do, okay? I still paddle, but I do like to pedal. All right, this thing, to me, it's been a game changer as far as keeping me good position out on the water. Up on top here, okay, you can see, got this Scotty mount, okay, and what I put on there is another camera a lot of times, okay, so if I want to do any vlogging, I'll mount the camera up on top of here. And up on top of this, let me go ahead and take this off here and show you. Up on top of here, and I've got all the information in the description, but up on top of this drive there's a hole that's threaded, and like I said in the description, you can check out and see what size this is. I don't remember offhand, but put that in there. It's just a 1-inch ball, and you can mount things on it. I see a lot of people, they'll mount something to hold their dip net on. They got some kind of, I think Yak Attack makes it, some kind of cam system to lock their dip net in up there. I see a lot of people do that. My dip net, I store it back here behind my seat, okay? This isn't anything expensive. I got this I think I got this out of Walmart, so I just keep it back here, back of my seat, and I can get to it really quick if I need to. So, all right. So anyway, guys, that's it for my 2024 kayak setup. I'm ready to go fishing. I don't know about you. Hopefully some of these ideas help. Like I told you, things that are mounted on this can just about go on any boat. Okay, so it's not just for native boats. They can go on about anything. Now these sidekicks, I don't know about that, but there are some other companies out there that make something similar. I don't know if those would fit on any other boats or not. I'm not sure, but Native, they do fit for native kayaks. And what it's all about is just making the boat work for you. Okay, and that's what I've done. I mean, I've made this boat work for me, and it doesn't happen overnight. I come up with something new every year. Next year, I'll have something new on it, probably, if I don't get rid of it, and I don't see that happening because boats are expensive. But it's really good. So we'll just go over one more time. We'll swing over this and let you check it out. All right. All right, so that's it. That's a look at my boat. All right, so if you got any comments, go ahead and put those in. Everything that's on this boat, there's a link in the description, okay, if you want to check it out or look it up. You know, other than maybe something that I DIY'd, okay, but maybe you can use that idea and fashion something of your own. But I hope you enjoyed this. I invite you to subscribe to the channel. I'm also on Facebook, so if you look me up at the Outdoor Navigator on Facebook, okay, you can go to my page and I'll have a link to where this video is posted. And if you've got some pictures of your own boats or whatever, you can make comments on there. Unfortunately, YouTube doesn't allow that, so, but you can drop comments on there and drop me some pictures, and, you know, I'd love to see how yours is set up. So, hey, I can't wait to start fishing again. Navigate outdoors, and I'll see you in the next episode. Peace.